3, 2, 1.
Hi everyone, Ashley here, Crypto Capital Venture, my venture, your venture. Without further ado, Crypto Dan, let's see what kind of news he has for us. Go Team Litecoin.
Well, that was awesome. Ashley, one of our subscribers here on Crypto Capital Venture, always see him in the comments. So first of all, really cool just to see a video of him. Humbling because he's got a Crypto Capital Venture shirt on, and just what a solid, on-point intro. So Ashley, thank you so much for that. That was the first one. That was very cool, very exciting. Made my day. So, all right, let's get into the video. Want to go over price action on Litecoin, want to go over charts. And before I jump in, I want to just give a quick shout out, eCurrency hodler E over there at the Light School. Please check it out. He just posted on Twitter his podcast, and it's a podcast of an interview he did. And he says, I was honored to have Alex Bosworth at the Light School for a live stream. It was so good, I turned it into a podcast. And Alex is from the Lightning Network. The interview was insane. So good, so informative, and really cool pieces of information that most weren't even aware of. So you can see on the Litecoin School of Crypto, in this episode, I go in depth into Lightning Network and the different use cases of atomic swaps made available to Litecoin and Bitcoin. So go check it out. I'll post a link in the description. If you have some time, it's a really good podcast and I definitely recommend it. Good for some, if you're driving, can't think of anything better to really listen to in terms of crypto. So let's start out. Let's go over the Litecoin charts. I got the week open, and this is a perfect illustration, a perfect picture of this journey that we've been on. What's crazy is right around here, I guess, January, beginning of January, I started this YouTube channel. And and I would way rather have it be this way, where we get to grow, we get to kind of move forward in this journey, and we're experiencing the tough times. I mean, look at that. It's just a downtrend, but it just means that the good times, the future is very bright. So small hurdle that we've been through, obviously, in this downtrend in Litecoin, but it's all good. Let's go over to the daily. The daily says it all. And I put this two-color triangle together just because I feel like it really does a good job of illustrating the symmetrical triangle that we've been talking about so much, because we've been using it a lot to track the progress and the direction of Litecoin, also the momentum of Litecoin. So on the daily, you can see we're closing in on the 80% to the apex, which is 2 days away. We're very, very close to that happening. It doesn't mean anything in particular is definitely going to happen on that day. I want to point that out. That's not what that means. But typically, breakouts occur around here somewhere. So when it comes to, I guess, what I'm looking for right now, we'll talk about it on the upside and downside. I'm going to use a 4-hour chart a little bit for that as well. But on the daily chart, and mainly on the downside, if we can talk about a downside scenario, I'm watching this 200 EMA that we've really bounced off of twice now. You can see it. If we retest this bottom, this is a worst case scenario here, right? This is a higher low that we've had from these previous double bottom back in February. We've had this higher low. If we retest that and actually fall below it, that's not a good scenario. That's not a good thing, because not only are we creating a new low and we're breaking this higher low pattern that we find in this symmetrical triangle, but we're also falling outside of the triangle itself. So that's something on the downside I just want to point out, just to be aware of, because it's important to kind of be cautious of things like that happening, especially in this crazy market that we're in right now. So, and we can actually get a really clear picture. Let's go over to the 4-hour. So right now in the 4-hour, I'm looking at 160 as a very key area of support, and we can use it as a point of reference for a couple different reasons. Number one, there is support on GDAX at the 160. And the other thing is the fact that if you look at this previous, and this is what Litecoin does, it really follows trends. It follows movement and historical price movement. So if you remember this bottom that we had over here, and if we want to call this a bottom, right at the bottom of the triangle itself, that support line that we had here, you saw it come back up. It kind of went sideways a little bit. and then it goes back up. And same thing from this bottom. We went up, we kind of went sideways, we go back up, and what happened here is it came back down and it tested a key support of 140 and it went back up. And now here we are testing a key support at 160, just in a different, it's just in a different realm. We're in a higher low here. Okay, so we didn't hit the 115 area. We hit the 135 to 140 area. So we're trading up here now. So I'd be very interested to see if we continue following this previous pattern that we've seen and actually take a bounce back up and then see maybe a breakout similar to what we saw here. I'd be curious to see if that happens, especially being we're at the 80% of the apex. I'm not saying it's going to happen. This isn't a prediction. I always have to protect myself when it comes to that. However, it's an anticipation, and I wanted to really just kind of draw it to your attention because right now it is kind of a critical time. So on the upside, I guess I'm not the only one saying this. It's been talked about a lot. The 175 acting as a nice amount of resistance that we need to break through. So right now we're in a very small channel right here, the 160 to 175. That's an extremely small channel, especially being not 2 days ago. When was this bottom? So this bottom was 4 days ago, and we're up 20% or so from just 4 days ago. So I know many right now are kind of like, oh, Litecoin's not doing very well, but hey, at least we're up 20% from March 18th. Now, I guess I'll end it there. We're keeping an eye on the 160 support. We're checking out the 175 resistance to see if we can break it. The next 48 hours going into the weekend are going to be maybe a little crazy because we're at that 80%. Anything can happen. Nothing might happen. But these are kind of my thoughts, and if nothing happens by midnight tonight on Twitter, I had a thing that I was saying I was hoping for a breakout today or yesterday. So if it doesn't happen, I'm going to give away a little bit of Litecoin. I did it for fun. I'm not trying to, sit back and predict things happening. I just thought it would be fun to spice things up on Twitter a little bit. So that's what I did. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. And I guess that's it for today's, video. I think we just have to be patient. There's so many good things we can take. We can take Abra for example. I'm going to leave it with this because I want to remind you, price action is such a small part of what we are doing. Always zoom out on the charts. Zoom out on the charts because we are in the middle of just an advancement in technology and payments, and Litecoin is really doing an awesome job of leading the way, and it's powerful in my opinion. So I'll leave it with this. Abra, we chose Litecoin after a long and thorough research process to determine the asset class that met our criterion. Secure, safe, scalable on-chain and off-chain, low mining fees, and preferably with adherence to the published Bitcoin Core roadmap. And we're talking, the first time the platform is offering 20 cryptocurrencies plus 50 fiat currencies in a single wallet with real-time exchange across all 70 and no third-party custodian. Litecoin, foundation to making that happen for Abra. So remember that. Awesome things going on. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you have a great rest of the day. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I just love talking with all of you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great night. See you in the next video, and God bless.